All right, looks like we're ready to roll. So, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Blu-rayDave back with another private stream. And if you haven't checked out the previous stream, go ahead and watch it. I did mention like I wanted to make this one for quite some time. I'm pretty sure there has been a few YouTubers who have talked about the villain verse movies. Because um, when you say villain verse, you think of Venom and Morbius and potentially some other Spider-Man villains. But I think there's one thing we all can agree as genuine Marvel fans, okay? As genuine Marvel fans, I think we can all agree that Sony really should have kept the R ratings for these movies. Like I think the Villainverse is meant to be rated R. Ever since like they announced the first Venom, that one was supposed to be rated R, but then they were like, "Oh, we gotta make these PG-13 because we want more families to come in." But Sony, don't be afraid to raise the stakes. I know you've done it with Ghost Rider, so maybe you could have made Spirit of Vengeance rated R. Who knows? Um, so yeah, guys, I am making my personal opinions and kind of rant video on between Morbius versus the Venom movies. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I have said this many videos back, guys. I definitely enjoyed Morbius more than the Venom movies, in my honest opinion. I wasn't forced to be like, oh, I like this one better, because like no, like, and it turns out I'm not the only one who thinks this. There's other people in general, whether they're Marvel fans or not, like they like this movie more than the Venom movies. I don't know if it's because Morbius kind of took like a lighter tone. Well, there's a reason behind that, because remember how I was in the beginning, guys, that Sony really cut down on scenes in these movies? Well, yeah, you could definitely tell like there's like some certain pauses or like fast cuts from Morbius. And it's funny that I'm just hearing this now for the first time, like months later. Like apparently because of the memes, like it's Morbin time. Like Sony took that as like, hey, people seem to like this. We're re-releasing this in theaters. You know what, Sony? That could have been a perfect opportunity to release a director's cut of this movie. So I'm still gonna keep nagging on about this, Sony, and like most of us are gonna keep getting on you until we get what we want. Release the director's cuts of these movies, okay? You're supposed to keep your word. And of course, I am excited for Craven the Hunter to come out this year. Like, there's no doubt in my mind it's gonna be PG-13, but like regardless, like I think it's gonna be pretty good. And again, like depending on how my opinions will change about the Villainverse movies, guys, like of course, again, my opinions will change, okay? Like I might not always like Morbius forever, like in the sense of like, sure, I'll still like it, but it might not be my favorite Villainverse movie anymore in the future. Like again, we'll see how Craven the Hunter goes. Madam Web, is she kind of like a villain, and is she really part of the Villainverse, or is she like kind of like in her own universe, but like like the Spider Verse, but like she keeps track of everything, like Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland slash the MCU, Miles Morales, the Villainverse. The possibilities are endless with the Spider Verse. Um, yeah, I really like Jared Leto's performance as Dr. Michael Morbius for sure. I was even excited for this movie to come out back when they released the first trailer back in summer 2019, but of course it got delayed. Thank God they shot all the scenes for the movie, but they could have just kept all the scenes in, really. Like again, this is a good movie. I don't remember if I said this is a 10 out of 10 movie. I don't think that might not be the case. Maybe an 8. Maybe an 8. I was thinking 7, but like no, it's an 8. Um, and of course, if you've seen this movie, hopefully you picked up the first time when the FBI is there and they don't say Venom's name, but like they reference something like from San Francisco. Like if you've seen the Venom movies, and yeah, oh man, I am looking forward to seeing Venom 3. Like we're finally gonna get a Spider-Man there. Hopefully Andrew Garfield, and who knows what Tom Hardy is gonna do with his version of Venom. Like there could be some crossover movies, no doubt. Like I think a lot of people, especially myself, like we want to see Venom and Morbius to team up, But like, if you've seen the second mid credit scene, guys, where Vulture, who comes from Earth 616, the MCU, visits Michael, and they tease the Sinister Six a little bit, and then of course you got Michael Morbius saying, "Intriguing," like, oh, so Sony's finally gonna build up their version of the Sinister Six again. We kind of got it in No Way Home, if you want to include Venom from the mid-credit scene of No Way Home, so that one counts. Because yeah, even Venom was supposed to be in the Statue of Liberty battle. Like, I think we might get that as a Lego set this year, guys. Like, can you imagine if Lego included Eddie Brock in there, just like a little Easter egg, like, as Marvel fans in general, we would understand why he would be put in that set again if it was a hypothetical scenario. If kids saw the set, if they buy it, they'd be like, "What? Venom wasn't in the battle!" Like, and then I'm pretty sure the parents or any Marvel fans will be like, "Trust me, kid. When you get older, I think you'll understand why." um, of course, no doubt, nothing wrong with the Venom movies. Okay, like, I think it's what Spider-Man: Homecoming really kicked off like these Sony projects for Sony, because again, Sony wants to make their own Spider-Verse cinematic universe, and they tried that with the Amazing Spider-Man movies. We all know that, and they were planning a crap ton of other projects after TASM 2. And guys, my suspicions are high on this. Like I mentioned Andrew Garfield earlier. It's pretty much a possibility, not a guarantee, but a possibility that he might be Sony's Spider-Man. Even though Sony did say like, "Oh, we want Tom Holland to be, our Sony Spider-Man too." Because who knows what's going to happen with Tom Holland after the Kang Dynasty and the Secret Wars. Because even Kevin Feige, he confirmed that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is the only Spider-Man, at least live-action Spider-Man, to cross over multiverses. And I'm excited for Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 because we might actually get to see Tom. Like, there's so many reports coming in like, "Oh, we're going to see Tom this year because he's going to be in Across the Spider-Verse." Like, oh, man. And I think, like, the MCU is trying to develop Miles Morales into their universe, right? So I think the voice actor himself who, voices Miles, I think he wants to be the MCU Miles as well. Like, because again, like Miles, I'm pretty sure he's like the only, I guess, like, let's just say animated Spider-Man to cross over, other Earths, right? So like, what if he stay in the MCU permanently? Because we got to get Across the Spider-Verse Part 2. So, and of course, it will be no doubt in my mind in Secret Wars that we are going to see like the Spider-Verse characters, and because once Disney and Marvel Studios bring every single Marvel franchise together into one, because in the Secret Wars comics, like all the Earths join into one, like, oh my gosh, the possibilities are endless. Again, what I've said with Tom Hardy's Venom, again, the possibilities are endless because sure, Sony wants to develop their own Sinister Six, but like he could still be around for the MCU. So on a technicality, he could still be like the MCU Venom. But after the mid-credit scene of No Way Home, like a piece of the symbiote of Venom was left, and we all know that Tom Holland is gonna get that suit in Secret Wars. So like, oh my gosh, we all wanted to see Tom versus Tom so bad, but it might just be Andrew versus Tom now. Like, oh my gosh. And of course, these movies took a darker tone. I appreciate that. Like, they still kind of have like that rated R vibe to them. I still have a soft spot for the first movie, guys. The second one was good. Even the mid-credit scene for Let There Be Carnage was good because like he transported from like his Earth to 616, which is the MCU. That guy. But who knows how long Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture, is going to stick around the villain verse for much longer, because again, he might as well just be the leader of the Sinister Six, like, and Morbius could be like his second in command. So let's say again, a hypothetical scenario for Venom 3. Let's say there's a mid to post credit scene, right? Where um Eddie has been defeated, right? But Michael and Adrian, they come to recruit him, right? Wouldn't that be cool? Like, I'm not sure what Craven the Hunter is going to offer. Like, Adrian Toomes, he could just be like the Nick Fury of the Sony verse, where like, I'm here to talk to you about a villain initiative. Like, so that'll make him, Michael, Eddie, and Craven like 4 members, right? So we would need 2 more. So, guys, what would be like the last 2 villains to join the Sinister Six? There's so many other possibilities, really. Because, again, when Sony was trying to develop the Sinister Six after TASM 2, like we had the Rhino, right? He was like the first candidate. So like, what if the Rhino is still around and they recruited him, so he'd be like the 5th member, right? Let's just say that that's a hypothetical scenario. Then who would be the last member? Because I highly doubt that Dean DeHaan's Harry Osborn, aka the Green Goblin, could be it, because he's in like Ravencroft. Like, but who knows if they'll break him out, or if he broke out, or if he's going to be there for a long time. Like, again, who knows? Again, the possibilities are endless with the multiverse. And sure, the memes are funny with Morbius, but like, again, just something about his performance, like, and I definitely like his love interest in here for sure. But his villain, like, Milo, what's his alter ego? The Hunger, whatever his name is. Like, if that's the case, that is a horrible villain name. But I thought he did such a good job in this. Like, oh my gosh, I loved it more when, like, if you guys watch the Microwave Society, they reviewed this movie and like they made it 10 times better and funnier. And of course, we gotta love that little reference that Michael made to one of the thugs. I am Venom. Take some ibuprofen. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I definitely like Jared Leto as the Joker and Morbius for sure. And like I said, those 2 mid-credit scenes are so good. Like, again, with the first one, like, you had the Spider-Verse cracking, and then Adrian Toomes comes in. Like, seriously, when they introduced Toomes in the first trailer, we all thought, is this even part of the MCU, or is this like a different Adrian Toomes? But we now know that it's still our Adrian Toomes, Michael Keaton. So like I said, it'd be pretty cool to see Toomes lead the Sinister Six for sure. Because even Vulture in the comics was like one of the leaders for sure. Because again, there was different members of the Sinister Six. Not every group remained the same. I'm sorry, guys. I'm still dealing with allergies. And of course, you got your villains from the Venom movies, right? Like, you got Riot, and then you got Carnage himself with his wife. Carnage was pretty cool. He was pretty cool. I was waiting for this moment ever since that mid-credit scene. Of course, you get a crap ton of cussing with the first Venom, because, again, that movie's supposed to be rated R. Into the Spider-Verse felt like it should have been PG-13. Can you imagine if they went for a PG-13 rating with that movie? I wouldn't mind it. I mean, guys, you gotta give Morbius credit to where it's due. I mean, like, sure, you have a cinematic universe, right? But you can't expect everything to remain the same. Like, the MCU is so consistent. Like, sure, they're Disney family friendly, but at least they know how to bring different tones to their movies. Again, you got Winter Soldier that has a darker tone, which hopefully Daredevil Born Again will have that same feeling. Or the Spider-Man Homecoming movies, where it's like a fun high school summer movie to watch. Or, like, again, you got comedies like the Guardians movies and Thor Ragnarok. Like, those are comedy movies. And, like, again, with the Avengers films, like, depending on their tones, like Infinity War and Endgame, where it definitely had darker tones. Age of Ultron was supposed to be like a horror movie. At least, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was the MCU's first horror movie, but like, can you imagine people still talking about Age of Ultron today if Joss Whedon might have changed a few things? Like, I think it's an okay movie, but like, I was kind of expecting it to be a horror movie. And I've mentioned this too with the Defender saga, the Netflix series, because honestly, like, yeah, they're MA, right? And everyone expects them to be dark. Sure, they could still be dark, but you can still have a lighter tone. Like, I know there's a few MA shows out there that have a lighter tone, but they still have like a darkness to them. Again, I love Marvel's Iron Fist. Yeah, I'm still going to defend that show because they took a lighter tone, but they still had like a lot of dark moments. With Daredevil, for example, perfect example, it's always 100% dark and serious, brooding, everything you want from Daredevil. But of course, what we can expect from the MCU with Daredevil, which hopefully he's our Matt Murdock still, like in the comics, guys, he has been both serious and comedic. So what they showed us in She-Hulk, where he had a comedic side, like, yes, like even Charlie Cox himself, he said like, he's a very happy guy and he smiles all the time, but he was told on set so many times not to smile. But of course, they let Matt Murdock have his moments on the show. Like, well, at least Charlie will have his opportunity to smile more on Born Again. Oh man, it's like one of his wishes that will come true. Um, and of course, these are two different characters from the same universe that they eat people. With Kraven the Hunter, it's going to be different. Okay. Um, and of course, we can't expect all of our villains to remain the same, right? Like, sure, like I said, with Venom and Morbius, they both eat people, but that's not always going to be the case with every single Spider-Verse villain, right? Um, there's also been a debate a while back regarding the Kingpin. I think it's just mainly on the Kingpin because he's both a Daredevil and a Spider-Man villain, and I don't know if Sony was trying to get him back or whatever. Like he does feel like a Spider-Man villain sometimes, but at the same time, it's like when you see Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin in Daredevil or Hawkeye, like he's like a pure Daredevil villain. Like he did such a good job. Um, I thought about this last night too. Like, like how Hugh Jackman was supposed to appear in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2. That got me thinking, with all the 20th Century Fox Marvel movies that they made, this includes Ben Affleck's Daredevil. Could it have been possible if Ben Affleck's Daredevil and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man could have crossed over? Think about it, guys. Think about it. They're legacy characters, right? So can you imagine if they both cross over together? Like, again, like, oh my gosh. Again, we'll have to wait and see what Secret Wars has to offer. But at least Secret Wars will offer that Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire are finally going to cross over. They're going to team up. Oh, yes. Oh, I can imagine just a packed theater just screaming their heads off like, yeah, let's go, baby. We've been waiting for this since 2004. Like, oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of tearful moments in the King Dynasty and Secret Wars, guys, because, again, the possibilities are endless. I would just love for Sony to make a Morbius 2 for sure, no doubt in my mind. Even I wanted to see this movie in the theater. At least I got to see the first two Venom movies in the theater, but like, again, something about Morbius, he has more of that comedic side of him. Sure, Eddie has that too, but he's more serious, and like Venom, he's always funny, and he's always trying to, like make Eddie's life more interesting day by day. I mean, Andy Serkis did a really great job directing Venom 2. Did he step down for Venom 3? I don't know. I bet you the man's got a lot on his plate, but like, I want you guys to place your bets in the comments on who's going to be, like, what Spider-Man is going to be part of Sony's universe. Um, because if it's really Andrew Garfield, then the villain verse movies would have to come straight after TASM 2, which means we would have to put like Venom, Venom 2, Morbius after TASM 2. You know, like at least Sony will be able to get their dream of making their Spider Verse, you know, Sony verse. I know a lot of people complain about the Spider Verse movies, like in general. I'm not just talking about like the animated stuff, but like even though that movie was good, um, you know, really Sony just pays the bills. And people back in 2017, they were worried about Spider-Man Homecoming because they're like, oh, Sony, they ruined Spider-Man. Like, at least Disney was able to like help them, you know? But you guys gotta understand, Sony is not the only movie studio that makes bad movies, okay? Disney themselves makes bad movies. Fox, Universal, DreamWorks, Warner Brothers, whatever studio you like, every single movie company is going to make bad movies. And sometimes they make sequels after them to redeem the first movie, you know. That's just how the movie business works, you know. At least like Kevin confirmed that he will be behind the scenes of every Sonyverse movie now. I think that includes Madam Web, because Madam Web is supposed to like partially take place in the Tobey Maguire universe because of the set photos. I'm excited for that movie. Isn't that movie supposed to come out next year? I think Kraven the Hunter is supposed to come out this October, but we haven't gotten a trailer yet. Hopefully Sony will release a trailer soon before October, because we still have 7 months left, if that's the case. Still, regardless how Sony releases their villainverse movies, I'm still going to watch them. I'm going to enjoy them, and of course, I'm going to keep demanding that they need to release director's cuts of these movies. Okay. But I also want to hear your guys' honest opinions about the villainverse movies. Like, which ones did you love the most? Did you love the Venom movies more, or did you like Morbius more? Like, my gosh, I can't wait for Sony's version of the Sinister Six, because once all those guys come together, crap is really going to get real. I don't know if it will really top No Way Home Sinister Six, but like we'll see. But after watching the Blade movies, guys, I even said this in the review too. I'm hoping that in Secret Wars, like if Blade and Morbius do come in like at the same time, like, because you know we all know that Blade is a daywalker, right? And you know Morbius is kind of like a vampire. Blade could just easily sniff his scent, like, you're one of them. And then Morbius would sense Blade, and like he would just try to run away, not even try to kill him. Like Blade would want to try to kill Michael, right? So imagine that, guys. But of course, they would have to team up together and help the Avengers stop Kang, you know? Let me know in the comments if you would want to see that in Secret Wars. Oh, man. And speaking of Secret Wars, guys, I saw this coming. This was an early report, but they finally confirmed it. Secret Wars is going to be a two-parter. Yep, they're going to be like Infinity War and Endgame, so we're going to get an Avengers 7. We all thought we were just going to get Avengers 5 and 6, but no, we're getting a trilogy. It makes sense to make it a trilogy, you know, because it's going to be too big of a movie and you have to split in two parts. You know, I understand that. I keep talking more about Secret Wars lately than the Kang Dynasty. At least Kang Dynasty sets up Secret Wars. And I can imagine King Dynasty is not going to reveal everybody because, again, this is a trilogy. or it's going to be a trilogy, and they're going to want to reintroduce everybody one at a time. At least they confirmed in the first part of Secret Wars that Toby and Hugh are going to team up. And Sony did say like after No Way Home, like they want all three of our boys, our Spidey boys, to cross over again. So that will happen in Secret Wars. I could just see Charlie's Daredevil being like, wait, there's two more of you? And then Tom would have to explain like he did to Doctor Strange, like, Spider-Man, they're Me's from other universes. This is the blind ninja I was telling you about. Oh my gosh. Oh, this gets me so excited. But I would hate to have to wait for like what, 2026, 2027 for Secret Wars to come out. Like, oh my gosh, guys. But, you know, I'm a man of my word, and I still mean this when I say this. I still care about quality over quantity. I think if Disney still would have gone the direction that they announced their slate last summer, I think the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars would have sucked. So I'm happy that, you know, again, with Bob Iger back in the picture, like he's allowing Kevin Feige to fix the messes. But I really hope that Daredevil Born Again still keeps his 2024 spring release date, because, again, I don't want to have to wait longer for that one. I want to see my boy, Charlie Cox. Let's go. To me, the Venom movies are a 7 out of 10. You know, at least that's a ranking, one ranking lower than Morbius. But again, guys, we'll see how my opinions change about the Villainverse movies, because again, we got Kraven the Hunter. I mean, I'm going to call it out right now. I highly doubt that Kraven the Hunter would top my ranking for Morbius, again, depending on how the film is, because, you know, if it turns out to be a good movie, then that's great. Like I said, I'm happy that I'm not forcing myself to like these movies, because, you know, I'm also I'm a completionist, right? So whatever I get, like, even if it's like, if it's good or bad, like, I'm still gonna get it, you know, like. But I enjoy the Villainverse movies, and honestly, I think the Villainverse franchise is gonna be just horror comedy movies. You know, again, they try going for the R-rated aesthetics for the first Venom, because, like I said, they're supposed to have that rating, but, you know, it's just more like, yeah, horror comedy stuff. That's pretty cool. So, again, I really don't know what to expect from Kraven the Hunter and Venom 3, but like I said, hopefully Morbius will get a trilogy as well. I think every villain is going to get a trilogy. Because, you know, with Iron Man, like after his trilogy, like he still got to expand his character arc in the MCU. You know, Age of Ultron, Civil War, Homecoming, Infinity War, Endgame. And like I said, I would love to see Villainverse crossover movies. So let me know in the comments if you would also like to see that. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off now. So thank you so much for watching my and listening to my opinions about the Villainverse movies. Again, what do you guys think of these movies? Which one do you think is better? Which ones do you think that could have improved? And are you happy to hear that Kevin Feige is actually going to be helping out with the Sonyverse? Because, again, I said, regardless, however they make these movies, because, again, Sony's paying the bills, I'm still going to watch them. And that was my phone. That scared me a little bit. All right. Again, I'm going to sign off now. So, again, thanks so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for playing me, the Lord. Be with you guys. Always love you guys. Peace out, guys. And remember, eyes, lungs, pancreas, so many snacks, a little time. Okay. Tater tots and chocolate. And one more thing. I am Venom. Okay. I'm having way too much fun with this. All right. You guys have a good night now. Bye, guys.